Howdy, y'all. This is Proverbs 16 in the ALV for November 16th, 2023. The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from Yahweh. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but Yahweh weighs the spirits. Commit your works to Yahweh, and your purposes shall be established. Yahweh has made everything for its own end, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Everyone who's lofty of heart is an abomination to Yahweh. Hand in hand, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth iniquity is atoned for, and by fear of Yahweh men depart from evil. When a man's ways please Yahweh, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. A man's heart devises his way, but Yahweh directs his steps. Divination is on the lips of the king, his mouth shall not transgress in judgment. A just balance and scales are Yahweh's, all the weights of the bag are his work. It's an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him who speaks right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is a cloud of the latter rain. How much better to get wisdom than gold, yea, to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. The high way of the upright is to depart from evil. He who keeps his way preserves his soul. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. It is better to be of lowly spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who gives heed to the word shall find good, and he who trusts in Yahweh, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips shall increase learning. Sweetness of the lips increases learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life to him who has it, but the correction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise instructs his mouth, and adds learning to his lips. Pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. The appetite of the laboring man labors for him, for his mouth urges him on. A worthless man digs for himself. A worthless man digs for mischief, and on his lips there's like scorching fire. A perverse man scatters forth strife, and a whisperer separates chief friends. A man of violence entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. He who shuts his eyes, it is to devise perverse things. He who compresses his lips brings evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of glory. It shall be found in the way of righteousness. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty. He who rules a spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but his whole disposing of is from Yahweh. I just managed to read 2 chapters at once. Oops. So, start over. Let's read this. Sorry if the rain is distracting. I didn't think it was going to pick up, but here we are. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but Yahweh weighs the spirits. This speaks so much to our culture: choice, freedom, empowerment, living my authentic self. You know what right is. You know deep down what right is. And that you can choose to worship yourself in whatever capacity. You can choose to worship Yahweh and his ways. And if that's unpleasant to you, well, sorry. Worship yourself. Go be with yourself. And reap what you've sown, essentially. This is a difficult verse, right? Yahweh's made everything for his own end, even the wicked for the day of evil. Ooh, there's been a lot of theological argument based on that. And I believe it's a couple other places. Jeremiah, maybe? But I don't know that it was like, hey, let's make some people to be evil and be damned. It's just that he made everybody. The good, the bad, seeing, the blind. He made them all. Once again, self-worship. Everyone who's lofty of heart is an abomination to Yahweh. Hand in hand, he shall not be unpunished. When a man's ways please Yahweh, he makes even his enemies to be at peace for him, with him. That's something I pray for constantly, right? Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. That's how I feel today. It's like, some days I think, why work like this? Why work hard? Why? There's other ways to make money. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. What's our little human life but a couple of stupid decisions away from eternal darkness? I stay on the struggle bus. Over and over and over and over, we're told to be just, to have fair weights. All the weights of the bag are his, Yahweh's, work. How much better to get wisdom than gold? Yea, to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. We all know pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. He who gives heed to the word shall find good, and who trusts in Yahweh, happy is he. I found plenty of good just in this book, you know what I mean? You just got to go looking for it. The heart of the wise instructs his mouth and adds learning to his lips, for sure. Constantly trying to tame my wild mouth. The appetite of a laboring man labors for him, right? He urges him on. But this is interesting. A worthless man digs for mischief, and on his lips is like scorching fire. A perverse man scatters forth strife, and a whisperer separates chief friends. A man of violence entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. A man of violence. Violence. Do we know what that word is? I don't know what it is right here, but violence, the word for violence in the Bible is Hamas. Hamas. Isn't that weird? That men of Hamas entice his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. Hey, can we have some water or power or safe buildings from all the billions of dollars you've received? No. We got to dig tunnels and build armaments and stash gasoline and generators and rockets and arms, but we're starving. Oh, this is Hamas, the men of violence, say this is the way. You need to do this. And now what? People have been suffering for 17 years. It's been under Hamas control. 17 years. So for everybody like saying how Israel is so evil, Gaza has their own government. They elected Hamas like a bunch of idiots, okay? All of that money, those people do not care about the Palestinians. This is a terror organization. They do not care about their brothers and sisters and neighbors. Only their ends, right? This is direct. I got to go look up this translation now. This is like directly applicable because the spirit of Hamas is violence. So men of violence lead their neighbors into a way that's wrong. Facts, y'all. And a lot of people are like, oh, we need to have a ceasefire, blah, blah, blah. We had a ceasefire. There was, in effect, a ceasefire. And then this event that they planned for 2-3 years, all these horrific small acts to tally up into one great day of violence, they did this. So it's like, oh, let's have a ceasefire. I agree. Let's have a ceasefire. Hamas needs to surrender. And I have a very particular opinion about this, which I was so glad to hear yesterday that the Palestinians are starting to loot the tunnels in some places in the bases. Good. The Palestinian people should be killing all of these Hamas people. They walk in, you know, Abdul's walking by with his AK to go to the secret entrance to the tunnel beneath your freaking school, hospital, residential block, whatever. Crack him on the freaking head, right? Yael, one of the, I don't think she was a judge, but the king, the enemy king, was fleeing and came and laid down in her tent. She gave him food. She gave him milk. She got him sleepy. He went to sleep. She went and got a freaking tent peg and hammered it through his head. Problem solved. Now, I have great faith in the Palestinian people. You mean to tell me that we've got people in prisons all over, especially in America, stabbing and slicing each other up with sharpened toothbrushes and found objects and stuff? If the Palestinian people honestly wanted their freedom from Hamas, they would take it. And I hope that they continue to. We need to pray with them, pray for them. It's not the same. The media is like, oh, free Palestine. Yeah, free Palestine. I agree. Free Palestine from Hamas, right? Oh, we didn't mean that. So really, what you're being told by all these organizations is, we support violence. We support Hamas. That is ridiculous. That's anti-Semitism. If they really wanted peace, they could have it. And if they really wanted prosperity, they would take it, right? I mean, billions of dollars are being funneled. And if you don't know, many Hamas leaders have kids, and the kids are on Instagram. And the kids are flying on private jets, and they have luxury cars, and they're taking vacations all over the world with the money that should be for clean water, energy, infrastructure in Gaza. Where's the outrage there? Jesus said in the end of days, it would be like the days of Noah. You know what the days of Noah were like? Beyond the esoteric, crazy stuff, it was, the world was filled with the spirit of Belial and Hamas. Lawlessness and violence. I would say, based on everything we're seeing, we are increasing in lawlessness. I just saw a story, a Christian street preacher just got shot in the head. Somebody just walked up to him and shot him. In America, on the street corner. And he's suffering critical injuries, and he was still alive. That, the way people are just stealing, looting, robbing. It's even a joke about like Walmart self-checkouts and like how you can just steal, right? Lawlessness and violence. And the earth is going to be increased and filled with it. Come quickly, Lord Jesus. On that note, go with God. Be blessed.